Well, hello. It is A.J. Wuest welcoming you back to Before the Four this fine Monday afternoon, where I take you through and talk about 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 p.m. newscast. I want to thank you for watching and starting your week off right here with me at the 48 Now desk for Before the Four. If you could choose a job anywhere in the entire world, what and where would it be? That is our 48 Facebook question of the day, and I know some of you all had some really great answers. Make sure you stick around for the end of today's Before the Four, and I'll take you through some of my favorite responses from you all. For me, I think it is what I am doing right now, staying on your side as the 48 digital host here in the Tennessee Valley. But yes, make sure you stick around to see what you all had to say. But now, with all of that out of the way, I say let's jump into today's top stories. And starting things off today in Decatur, where Chief of Police Todd Pinion recently released an executive plan to help ease the tension between the Decatur Police Department and the people they serve. Today marking the first time the City Council has met since Pinion released the new plan. And 48's Matthew King today was in Decatur attending the City Council meeting. He will have updates for you all coming up at 4. And staying in Decatur, a motion hearing today in the trial of Frederick Rogers, who you are currently seeing on the right side of your screen. Rogers, along with who you see on the left, John Michael Legg, are accused of killing 7 people at a home in Valhermoso Springs. 48's Claudia Peppenhorst has the latest on this story.
Deputies responded to a house fire on the night of June 4th, 2020. When they arrived, they found 7 people and a dog dead inside of the house on Toluca Road. The victims ranged in age from 17 to 45. One witness told investigators that the suspects and some of the victims were a part of a group called the 7 Deadly Sins. Investigators worked the next 3 weeks to track down the suspected killers. They found Frederick Rogers and John Legg in Oregon after more than 2 weeks on the run.
Our investigators did not give up on your loved ones.
Both Legg and Rogers were brought back to Alabama. A Morgan County grand jury indicted both men on capital murder charges.
Capital murder cases are the most complex criminal litigation that there is.
Rogers and Legg have been held without bond since being returned to Alabama. During their time in the Morgan County Jail, Legg is accused of trying to steal a trustee uniform so he could walk out of jail. He was charged with second-degree escape in June of 2022. Both men remain in the Morgan County Jail without bond. They're being tried separately. Rogers is facing a possible death sentence if convicted in the upcoming trial. Legg's trial date has not been set. Claudia Peppenhorst, 48 on your side.
Well, thank you, Claudia. And now in the Shoals, where a former Sheffield police officer pled guilty to assault in circuit court after he appealed his prior conviction. Last week, former officer Max Dotson, who you are now seeing on screen, pled guilty to third-degree assault. He was sentenced to time already served and fined $25. In 2013, he was found guilty of hitting DeMarcus Key multiple times in both the mouth and the nose back in 2022. Dodson was a former lieutenant at the Sheffield Police Department and was with Officer Nick Reisner when he was shot and killed by Brian Martin back in 2021. He was terminated from the department after he was found guilty. In May of this year, Dotson was arrested again for the DUI charge. And 48's Aria Pons will be reporting on this story today, so make sure to stick around for any details Aria might have coming up. Now in a little national news, before we circle back to more of our local stories, the Democratic National Convention is kicking off today in Chicago. And NBC's chief White House correspondent, Peter Alexander, tells us about what to expect. Let's take a listen.
This morning, Vice President Harris is preparing to accept her party's nomination, but not before Democrats first honor President Biden tonight. punctuated, sources tell NBC News, by a pass-the-torch moment where President Biden and Harris are expected to share the stage. The new Democratic ticket touring Pennsylvania Sunday.
When you know what you stand for, you know what to fight for.
Harris and Governor Tim Walz revealing their new campaign buses and responding to former President Trump's latest personal attacks.
Anybody who's about beating down other people is a coward. This is what strength looks like.
Mr. Trump in the state a night earlier bashing Democratic policies as fascist, calling immigrants who enter the U.S. illegally savage monsters, and lashing out at his rival, insulting Harris's appearance.
They said, no, her biggest advantage is that she's a beautiful woman. I'm going, I never thought of that. I'm better looking than she is.
If you have a policy debate for president, he wins. Donald Trump, the provocateur, the showman, may not win this election.
New polls show Harris is surging, narrowly leading Mr. Trump among likely voters nationwide, though still within the margin of error. And they're neck and neck in the key battleground states.
I very much consider us the underdog. We have a lot of work to do to earn the vote of the American people.
Here in Chicago, thousands of protesters are expected to converge on the city this week, some already taking to the streets. Inside the United Center tonight, President Biden will lead a lineup of top Democrats. Appearing tomorrow, Doug Emhoff, who could become America's first gentleman, as well as former First Lady Michelle Obama and former President Obama. Then on Wednesday, former President Clinton, before Tim Walz accepts the vice presidential nomination, all leading up to the main event, Vice President Harris's turn in the spotlight Thursday night.
Well, thank you, Peter. Now another national story. Phil Donahue, a trailblazer in television hosting, has died at the age of 88. Donahue's family announced that the popular television personality died last night after suffering from a long illness. However, the cause of his death was not immediately disclosed. Donahue ushered in a new wave of television by being the first person to interact with a studio audience. He even touched on polarizing topics such as war and abortion. His role in TV industry also earned him an induction into the Television Academy Hall of Fame back in 1993. He will be greatly missed. Now let's talk about some of the stories you may have missed. The big story over the weekend, country singer-songwriter Keith Urban performed a pop-up concert at the Athens Buc-ee's Friday night. As soon as the story broke, 48's Nick Ballinger went straight to the scene to check it out. Let's take a look.
When you think Buc-ee's, you think gas, brisket, and beavers. But what about hundreds of screaming concert fans?
I thought this crowd was here for me to cut my new single, but obviously it is not.
No, the giant crowd at Buc-ee's in Athens wasn't there to see Athens Mayor Ronnie Marks sing. Country music star Keith Urban pulled up his tour bus into Limestone County for a free pop-up concert at a gas station of all places. And for fans of free concerts and Keith Urban, that's a win-win.
Both. And when you put the two together, you get a winning formula. That's what you get.
Word quickly spread on social media late in the afternoon, and even Mayor Marks was left in the dark for hours.
I went in and said, look, can't tell you what it is, something big's happening. We need security, you need to promise me X number of people, we need barricades.
But for one fan and mother, she's been waiting for this moment for a long time.
He's got a special backup singer with him today, my daughter. I really imagine that's something that you just hope and pray for, something like that. But at a Buc-ee's, why not?
Sherry Orlovsky's daughter, Katie O, was asked to fill in tonight for one of Urban's backup singers.
His regular backup singer wasn't able to make today's show, so his drummer, who knows my daughter, got a hold of her and said, hey, can you make it today? And of course she said, absolutely.
But you don't have to be Orlovsky to know this was a one-of-a-kind experience.
Like, you're crazy. Absolutely no way. Imagine getting gas and looking over and Keith Urban's here.
Yep, imagine that. Super cool story there. And I don't know, I might just be speaking for myself here, but I think the community of Athens would love to hear Mayor Marks sing. I think Marks, he probably has some pipes on him, so I am very disappointed we didn't get to hear Mayor Marks also sing as well, but super cool story there. Now another story you may have missed, the new Huntsville transit system is just about to officially open. And yesterday, 48's Daquan Lee spoke with Huntsville residents, their thoughts on the new bus routes, the transit system, and the project as a whole. Check it out.
After years of planning and community feedback, the new and improved Huntsville transit system is nearly ready for its public debut. With it comes new routes that bus drivers and the people who depend on them have to get familiar with.
I think we underestimate just how much driving can take out of us.
Former City Councilwoman Frances Akridge was one of many who were getting a free ride around town Sunday afternoon. She says the new routes improve accessibility for people who not only need to ride the bus, but for people like her who want to.
Just have someone take me safely to some place while I can, frankly, just look out the window, look at the clouds, for example. It's good for us. So I'm excited about even using that.
It's a sentiment echoed by Zane Breen, a public transit enthusiast. He says he's been following the city's progress on this project for years, even coding a program that kept him up to speed with the latest information about it.
I've been following this for the past few years, and it's a great opportunity to finally see the new transfer station and a new route. All that's really exciting. I live somewhere that was very much not car dependent, and I've really been missing that here.
Well, thanks to Quan. Excited to see this long-time project finally come to life. Now, here's another really cool story for you from 48's Callie Neese, the Pocket Talk, a new device that allows teachers at Huntsville City Schools to speak with students who may not speak English. School officials say these things are game changers. Take a look.
We have always had interpreting tools, interpreting capabilities in the past, but we're really excited to be able to bring it to more environments and more languages.
It's no secret that Huntsville has a growing diverse population. Tamara Robbins is the English for speakers of other language coordinators for Huntsville City Schools. She says the district is seeing more and more students that speak other languages.
Of 40 plus languages that are spoken in the district, we currently have over 2,200 students that speak a language other than English.
The district has had translators to help them communicate with families who didn't speak English before. But now they've got a new tool that can travel anywhere and be used by anyone.
This little device might look like a tiny iPod, but it's actually helping parents and staff all over the district communicate better with each other.
The Pocket Talk. This device can translate over 80 languages right in the palm of your hand.
Muy bien, gracias. ¿Y usted?
Very well, thank you and you.
These devices cost about $250 each, but school leaders say that these are a huge help to teachers and well worth the price tag.
That was initiated with our superintendent, Dr. Sutton. He knows that we've had these tools, these abilities to interpret in the past, and that we've been able to do what the law requires. We've been able to be adequate in those tools, but he's really pushed us to move from adequate to excellent.
Robbins says these devices are important because they allow families, students, and educators to connect with each other.
Relationships are important. Being able to have conversations is what drives relationships. And students aren't just little brains that we're trying to teach in the classroom. They're whole people, and their families are whole people.
These devices have already started rolling out in classrooms and will continue to spread across the district throughout the school year. Reporting in Huntsville, Callie Neese, 48 News, on your side.
Well, isn't that neat? Thank you, Callie. Now in a little space news for you, Boeing has been in the hot seat this year with its Starliner spacecraft. But the aerospace company's troubles do not end there. 48's Liz Hurley recently went out to Marshall Space Flight Center's Michaud Assembly Facility in New Orleans to catch a glimpse of the new Space Launch System, or SLS, for our Artemis II mission. Liz brings you a story on what issues Boeing currently faces now as NASA's internal watchdog group released a blistering new report.
We're there weeks ago when NASA's first crewed moonbound space launch system for Artemis II rolled off the assembly line at Marshall Space Flight Center's Michoud Assembly Facility. At the time, Marshall management showed confidence in this second SLS build and in Boeing.
We have requirements that we've given Boeing that they need to meet, and we have a team here that looks at the quality, that makes sure all the nonconformances are addressed. And so when they deliver this hardware, we go through a thorough checkout and a hardware acceptance review. And so we're confident this hardware is ready to fly and that we'll fly safely.
NASA's top civilian and number 2 in agency leadership.
Liz Hurley from Huntsville.
Yes,
with all the focus on Boeing on a national level at the factory there with its jets and now with the issues on Starliner, do you have any trepidation at all about what's gone here at the factory with the SLS, the second one, and with the Artemis II mission?
I do not have trepidation. I mean, the processes that are in place here, are well proven. We proved them on Artemis 1. We understand the process.
Any qualms?
So our teams are doing their best to understand all the risks that we have in human spaceflight. Human spaceflight is a risky endeavor. The only way to eliminate all the risk is to stay on the ground, and I don't think that's part of our mission.
No qualms, no trepidation. Then NASA's own inspectors issued this blistering 38-page report focused on Boeing building the beefier version of the SLS that will take crew and cargo. NASA inspectors found significant quality control deficiencies at Michoud with Boeing management practices and woefully undertrained and inexperienced aerospace workers, and Boeing management that has generally been non-responsive in taking corrective actions when the same quality control issues recur. The SLS has already been over budget, behind schedule, and the risk for humans to travel to deep space are great, so NASA watchdogs want changes now.
Thank you, Liz. Now in state news. Students, I am talking to you. Did you know you could receive homework assistance for free just for living in the state of Alabama? WSFA's Rosina Smith has the details.
Students of all ages in Alabama can get homework help anytime, anywhere, from any internet-connected device with just one click of a button.
It's been gaining more and more attention and usage in the past decade than ever before.
Homework Alabama is an online program offered by the Alabama Public Library Service. More than 4,000 tutors with expertise in over 60 subjects are available for one-on-one homework help.
All of the tutors are rigorously vetted. They're subject matter experts. They ask questions, they encourage, they empower. It is a free resource, and so that is way better than, having to pay for tutors for each of your individual children, which oftentimes costs hourly.
There's also drop-off math and essay review services, test prep, and job search assistance for those in college or anyone looking for career support.
You will be able to get best practices tutoring from a live one-on-one person, and they will be able to walk you through interviewing processes, resume writing, just general best practices for job search.
Homework Alabama is available 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. We have placed a link on WSFA.com. Rosanna Smith, WSFA 12 News.
Cool stuff. Thank you, Rosina. Now in sports, it is officially game week. Can you believe it? Those Friday night lights will be shining loud and bright this week. And if you're a local high school football fan, make sure to download the 48 Sports Zone app for all things sports both locally here in the Tennessee Valley and big national stories as well involving sports. And the 48 Sports Zone app is available at the App Store, Google Play, or wherever you get your apps. And of course, this week is a game week, so it is Spirit Week to kick off the high school football season here in the 48 Now newsroom. And that is, today is Hawaiian Day or Beach Bum Monday. And I see my mother graciously commented, love the Hawaiian vibe. So yes, thank you for commenting, Mom. Thank you for saying that. But yes, it is Beach Bum Day today. But speaking of football, it is certainly important that you are keeping your teeth nice and straight and clean during this football season, especially if you play football. Stephen Mitchell with UAB School of Dentistry recommends the best mouthpiece for you or your child before taking the gridiron. And WBRC has this story, so take a listen.
Student athletes, you may think that's dumb, but it's protecting you. So put the mouth guard in.
Dr. Stephen Mitchell with the UAB School of Dentistry says sports-related dental injuries are a common problem. Your teeth are made of enamel, which cannot grow back. Thankfully, there are rules in place to protect football players.
One of the greatest things that organized school athletics has done, in most cases, it is a penalty if the play starts without your mouth guard in place.
He recommends a custom-made mouth guard, which requires a visit to the dentist. Younger athletes may opt for a boil and bite mouthpiece.
If you have a child that still has baby teeth, I think the boil and bite mouth guards are the best option because everything's changing and you can just reboil it and let them bite into it again.
The dentist stresses tooth damage is common in baseball and softball. Children should wear fielding masks.
God forbid a tooth gets knocked out. The number one best thing you could do is pick it up by the part of the tooth you normally see, the part that's in the mouth, and push it straight back in there.
Dr. Mitchell says you only have about 30 minutes to get that tooth back in the mouth to prevent problems. If you can't, he says you can place it in milk and head straight to the dentist.
The sugar in milk, lactose, is feeding those little cells and keeping them alive.
Well, thank you. And some more Rocket City sports news. The 2024 Rocket City Classic basketball game is coming back to town. That's right, today city officials announced that the Alabama Crimson Tide will take on the Memphis Tigers. This year, Rocket City Classic will be on October 28th at the Von Braun Center's Probst Arena. Mayor Tommy Battle announced the event today, and let's take a listen to what he had to say about bringing it back to the Von Braun Center as part of its 50-year anniversary.
We look forward to this great event in the Von Braun Center, and this is part of the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Von Braun Center. Many of us have many great memories of things that have happened here, things that are milestones in our lives, and this 50th anniversary is very fitting that we have this game here.
Super exciting event there, so make sure to keep your eyes peeled for tickets to what I'd imagine to be a highly sought after game here in the Rocket City. Now, you have seen them on the ground, but what about the water? I'm talking about Rolls Royces. One Rhode Island couple's purchase has heads turning all over. Reporter Sam Reed has the details.
Down the docks in Warwick, boats of all colors and kinds are meandering in the marina. While each is unique, there's one pulling out that I promise is unlike any other. It's a Rolls-Royce replica.
There's a real car that looks like this. Same color, everything that it looks like.
Turned custom cruiser, literally, for Anita and Dwayne Ratchford.
I honestly was looking into it because I'm into cars and she's into water. So I honestly just want to find something that fits both of us.
About 2 months ago, the couple decided to seize the day. Dwayne had heard of a company that built boats made to look like cars, and instantly he was sold. His wife, who's been his anchor, was on board too.
20-something years, anything he does. I'm kind of like a car girl now too. Plus I love the water, so why not? And I'm just passenger princess.
Built in Turkey, bought in Miami, he hauled a trailer for the travel to Rhode Island, and ever since, they've been enjoying the ride.
It moves fast like a jet ski, and it's comfortable like a boat, and you can fit 4 people in it.
The craft can go up to 70 miles per hour. It's got a lot of seahorse power.
Just has the gas pedal, gas and reverse.
Like a car.
Like a car, just like a car.
And while it's boatloads of fun on the water, sometimes people are puzzled.
People are confused. They want to know if it drives on on the road or just water, so I have to keep explaining that it's just for the water and it's a boat.
This is a different level of luxury, though. Dwayne, who's handy with cars, did some work on it too.
As far as the radio, AC, anything else that I wanted, I added a convertible roof to it. Just things that I like to make it mine.
To their knowledge, it's the only one of its kind on the water in the Ocean State.
It's different than everybody else, what everybody else is riding and driving. So I just like to be different.
Since the start of the summer, reaction from boaters has been overwhelmingly positive. People from all over stop and stare.
Love it.
Wait a minute, I need a new job.
Yeah.
And even pets
Goodbye.
pose for pictures.
It doesn't bother us, you know. That's why we're here with you.
We're having fun.
I'm enjoying, that's all that matters.
Isn't that super, super cool? I think I'm going to have to invest in one of those because that is probably the coolest boat I have ever seen, let me tell you. But let's talk about the stories you're just not going to want to miss in tonight's newscast. A story on a local Texas roadhouse making a considerable donation to help benefit first responders who have been injured in the line of duty. Make sure you stick around for that story and a few more stories you're just not going to want to miss. 48 Savannah Sap will be bringing you a tour of a fresh new innovation center in Albertville. And Congressman Dale Strong spoke at the VBC today. Catch what he said tonight to get the story you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. And you're also just not going to want to miss the latest 48 First Alert forecast from Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis to stay in the know of what the weather might be like this week in the Tennessee Valley. Now, it is time, of course, my favorite time for Before the Four, and that is, of course, Facebook fun. Let's go ahead and just pull up today's Facebook question. And I said it earlier, I'll say it one more time. If you could choose a job anywhere in the world, what and where would it be? I really want to know what you all had to say. I already said what I would do. It would be right here in Huntsville, Alabama, being the 48 digital host. For you all, I am certainly on your side. But let's see what you all had to say. Mac Pilot said an animal caretaker in Australia. Very cool. I don't know, Mac, if you saw James Spann's post today. James Spann, the meteorologist at WBRC. But he posted today I can't exactly remember what town it was, but it was here in North Alabama, and it was a kangaroo. Your comment reminded me a little bit of that photo today. But Mac, thank you for commenting. That would be an awesome job for sure. And Australia also, very cool place. Julia said a sea turtle conservationist on a beach somewhere. Yes, that would be another super awesome thing to do. Kind of similar to Mac's comment a little bit. You guys are absolutely killing it, and you know, just do it. Just go ahead and do it. But Julia, thank you so much for commenting. F. Gene Ohl said a mattress tester. That would be a pretty awesome job, wouldn't it be? Just being a mattress tester. F. Gene Ohl, thank you so much for commenting. And Mike said a social media specialist at WAFF 48. Mike, come on, let's go. Let's do it. Mike, thank you so much for commenting. But that is just about all the time for Before the Four today. I want to thank you for spending a little bit of your Monday afternoon with me, starting the week off right. If you haven't done so already, make sure you download the 48 digital app, the 48 Sports Zone app, and of course the 48 First Alert Weather app. Download all those apps, turn on the push notifications, and you will never miss a breaking story here in the Tennessee Valley. But with that said, that is it for today's Before the Four, and I like to end it the way I always do. Thanks for watching. You all have a great night.